It's kind of beat up. Same thing on, you can see all the pile of rust on that side already. We haven't even touched that yet. That's just the bounce off from doing what we're doing over here.
Wow.
It's, considering some of the other floor cams we've had in lately, it's not bad. It's a 72, so you know it's almost 60 years old. Or 50, no, 50 years old. 50 years old. You know, 50 years old, not bad for a 50-year-old girl, you know? Oh yeah, she's a beauty.
Hey, Mr. Rick.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold tight real quick with the bang bang.
All right.
Right now, guys, we at it again. It's VTSV Auto. Sending a good Friday vibe to you out there for all my YouTubers. Big shout out to my videographer, Justin. Good work, my brother. Hey. Justin Barrow. Wow. So what we're doing right now, I want to let you know, we don't play no games. We get cars in, you put a deposit down, we get my guys right on it. So this is Mr. Lofton's Caprice. We're pretty much doing a frame off restoration, but we're also doing an assessment right now. Let's really get into the meat and potato of it. Like I always tell my customers, I can tell you what we started for a paint job. I can tell you what it takes to take the car off the frame, get it on the rotisserie, get it stripped down, because we do it so much, I know the hours now. What I can't tell you is how much metal work you're gonna have once we strip it to the metal. Because then that's when it's pretty much the Bible now. It's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Until then, we're guesstimating. So we're gonna go over a couple things with the frame. Once again, you guys seen us do frame repair on Will's car, where the body bushings, actually the hole opening is bigger than the factory hole that it should be. This is pretty much the circumference right here, circle-wise, what the bushing natural hole should look like. Obviously, when you get up here, you see it rotted out that capacity, that hole has to be cut, remade, new metal, and everything goes in. So, also different areas on the chassis has different rust spots. It's I believe it was a Wisconsin car, snow car. Anybody know with the snow, they put ice on it for traction, the ice and everything, salt on it for traction, and that kicks up and that kind of start the corrosion process a lot faster than the dry climate car like Texas or Arizona, California, some parts of Florida, that doesn't have the beach. So just things like that. Also, the parts of the car, we're pretty much getting it to the meat and potato. Now I can get back, talk to Mr. Lofton, go over him with what we see, and also recommendations of what we recommend. This car brought up a real good point that I kind of want to let know to my customers and guys out there. If you have intentions on building a car like this, and you have the money to just order, you might want to hesitate before doing a lot of extreme ordering, because you never know the best route of going about it. For instance, this customer got bare brakes. If you know bare brakes, you can understand you probably got $5,000 in brakes. You have a Moser rear end, it's another $4,000 to $5,000. That's $10,000 right there tied up. Well, that's great if your frame is perfect. If you need framework, now we got to start talking about getting an aftermarket frame, because you're going to be a price point where you're at the same thing, buying a chassis by the likes of Art Morrison. It comes with all your suspension done. It comes with rack and pinion suspension, which is better than the gearbox what came on this factory. It also comes with an optional IFS suspension, which is the same suspension similar to what's on the Corvette. So now you have modern technology on an old school platform. But it got to make sense. That starts at about $20,000 and up. Now, if you have, $10,000 that you're going to put in the brake, now you're looking at another $10,000 for your frame. You got to think of $2,000 or $3,000 of that is going to be spent on suspension products if you keep your original frame. You're gonna have to buy gearbox, upper and lower ball joints, in out of tie rods, steering links, center links, all of those bushings and everything you need. With this new frame will come with everything brand new. So your price point is similar. You know, those things can happen, but now that you got almost $10,000 in parts, you don't want to be stuck with those parts and still make a purchase like that on the frame. So that's a good, you know, understanding too. Even if you do have the money to buy it, make sure you get your car to the shop first before you start purchasing, to make sure you're going down the correct road. Because when you GPS, it'll give you 3 or 4 different routes that you can go. We want to get the one, we want to pay the tolls, but we want to get there the fastest possible. We don't want to go out the way to come back around to do the same thing. And that's kind of what happens. So use this as a knowledge tool. If you're building the car, get the car. I understand if you have a motor in mind, get that at that point. Hold tight, because we don't know which way we're gonna go with a chassis. We might start with a new chassis, that's an option. If not, we have to fix what we have here. So those are just kudos for you. Think about it, you know, food for thought. Right now we got Mr. Rich. He's down doing assessments. The customer already told us that the trunk floor and the floor pan had rust as well as the frame. He's just digging into it now. We're gonna get down there and we're gonna put the camera down just to show, you know, inner wheel wells completely rotted out. Right when they get to the floor pan rotted out, you know, this stuff was bondoed in. You know, so somebody tried to do some form of work to it. They just went about it in a you know, in a manner where it was kind of quick. You can look at the car is a real good looking car. So obviously the corrosion that you see there is not from a car that wasn't taken care of. It was just the location that it was, like I said, in a salt climate because of the snow. So yeah, man, we do it. The car just got here. We got my main guys on it. You know, we wanted to at least get it on a rotisserie, because now we can actually look at it, get a good observation of it. We're going to get it braced up. Get all the stuff done to it where everything stays, you know, symmetrical, and you're gonna rock at it, man. So what's on this one too, it doesn't have fender skirts. This is Impala. I learned something from Mr. Lawson. 72 was the last year that they made an Impala. 73, 4, 5 were all Caprice classics. So didn't know that. Talk to something.
No skirts, but he's got the trim on there.
Yeah, the ones that didn't have the skirts, I guess they put the trim on the Impala. I actually like the fender skirt, the way that it covered the rim. I think it's a nicer, sexy look, but we're gonna make this a dance. We're gonna make this a pop.
What's up with the frame? Are you gonna sandblast it?
First thing we're gonna do is send it out to get it stripped. Just like we stripped the body, that'll let us know what we're truly working with. You know, we'll be able to know all of the rust spots, all of the parts that we need to repair on it, and then we'll go from there. If it's too much, we might be able to help Mr. Lawson out. Obviously we got another car in, the customer doesn't have the brakes. You got to get his car off the frame, look at it, hopefully it's not rotted out. If his frame is good and he doesn't have brakes and we're in, we might be able to shift the parts that Mr. Lawson already bought, sell it to the customer that's in house, being that he need them, and then we can revisit the idea of an art mortgage. So first thing first, we want to get it stripped out, strip the metal, and then we can kind of find out if we can save anything. But it just makes, you know, we just have to make sure it makes sense financially, you know. So, we rock it, man.
This is all done up. Bundle. Tie. This will all be new metal. Cut all this out here, trim this out nice and this is a new floor. I gotta check out and see what's done to it. Hopefully this is nice. It's just this, the way they put it in was kind of crappy. They did a quick lay-in and welded it up here. I left all the old rotted shit, which I'll take it, clean it off up to here. Make sure everything's nice and reinforce whatever has to be reinforced and make it clean and pretty looking and functional. You know, considering the age of the car, she's 50 years old. You know, go into the trunk, you can see where they put the new floor in. Now we just got to go in and clean out the stuff that they left underneath, reinforce and rebuild everything that's there. We'll check the quarters and see what's metal, you know, metal and what's mud. See what's the best way to go with the quarter panels. I mean, this all looks pretty good in here. It's got new weather strips. I mean, the channels are clean. A little bit of rust here, but I mean, considering some of the ones here, we've had to replace all that steel on a lot of them. This one, I mean, she's pretty clean. I'm very impressed with it. The guy's gonna be real happy that owns it. I mean, even under the lid, look, I mean, look at how nice that looks. But she's gonna be a pretty cow when she's all done. In the beginning, just started. So now we're gonna see what happens with that frame. See what the hell comes back from being cleaned. Not, in my opinion, it's not looking great, but I've been surprised. I'm just hoping that this one doesn't scare me instead of surprise me. I mean, it's, you know, I tested a few spots and they're crispy as hell. And once they clean off the rut, we can make new plates. There's no problem replating it together. It's just the question of when is it better not to replate it? You know, which is the better repair?